Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is April 10th, and we are going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1925, the godfather of the Poffo family, Angelo Poffo. 1954, William Moody, a.k.a. Percy Pringle, a.k.a. Paul Bearer. 1964, independent wrestling personality, Easy Rider. 1969, Gold Dust, Dustin Rhodes. 1980, former TNA Tag Team Champion, Jesse Neal. 1981, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Jax Dane. And last but not least, 1989, Juice Robinson. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for April 10th. 2017, Larry Sharp. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for April 10th. Getting in the Wayback Machine and going to 1956, Richard Brown defeats Iron Mike DiBiase in Topeka, Kansas for the Central States title. Jumping all the way to 1987, Day 1 of the second Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup took place in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Arena, drawing 9,300 fans. In the only non-tournament match on the whole card, Ole Anderson pinned Big Bubba Rogers in a cage match. Staying in 1987, Owen Hart defeats Makhan Singh in Calgary, Alberta, Canada to win the Stampede North American title for a second time. 1993, Smoky Mountain Wrestling runs a show in Phelps, Kentucky, where heavyweight champion Tracy Smothers does double duty, first successfully retaining his title against Dirty White Boy, and then to close out the show, winning a Battle Royal. 1996, WCW does a Saturday night taping, where both Chris Benoit and Ric Flair do double duty. First, in a dark match, Chris Benoit and Ric Flair team and defeat Pat Tanaka and Steve Dahl. Then on the main show, Ric Flair tags with the Giant and defeats Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Scotty Riggs. Whereas later in the card, Chris Benoit defeats Dave Sullivan. 1998, ECW runs a show at the Tampa Expo Park in Tampa, Florida. In the main event of that show, Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley win a Battle Royal, after successfully defeating John Kronus and Spike Dudley earlier in that show. 1999, ECW runs a show in Dayton, Ohio. In a weird change of events, the ECW World Heavyweight title was defended at the beginning of the show, whereas the ECW World Television title was defended in the main event. First, World Heavyweight Champion Taz defeats Spike Dudley, but in your main event, Rob Van Dam, your ECW World Television Champion, defeats Devon Dudley. And last but not least, 1999, Jushin Thunder Liger and the Great Susake defeat Dr. Wagner Jr. and Kendo Kashin to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for April 10th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.